everyone, my name is Jenna, but you guys can call me Jen, and welcome back to my channel. Welcome to a video that I have been meaning to do for a while, and seeing as it is now officially June, I figured it's like, which is, you know, the 6th month of the year. I thought, why not go through my entire book collection and see every single book that I own that I have not yet read. Now, if you guys know, I do keep a spread in my bullet journal, which is something that you're currently propped up on, that lists all the books that I own that I have yet to read. Like, it's a giant list of the physical TBR. But throughout the year, it gets more and more muddled because as I read books, I cross them off and star them. But I also keep hauling books and adding them, and I don't ever leave enough space in the lists to add more. So it's a whole mess. But I thought it would be fun to kind of go through it in a bookshelf exploration style. So that's what we're gonna do today. So I thought I might as well just give you an overview of the classics that I have, because I don't really actually consider these part of my TBR most of the time, because when I have classics books, I collect them. They are either multiple copies of ones that I absolutely love, like my multiple copies of Jane Austen that are sprinkled throughout my entire collection, but also because, like, I don't want to pressure myself to read classics. As an English major, as an ex-English major, I guess you could say, because I have graduated, having them is more of a pleasure than something to read. They're more of a collectible type of thing than something I have to read. But overview, ones that I have to read, I guess. I gotta read most of the Brontes, except for Jane Eyre. I gotta read the Dickens, the Eliot, the One Lone Gaskell, the Hardy, the James. Most of those, except for Dracula and Picture of Dorian Gray at the end there. This is basically just, you know, my classics collection. They are technically books that I do need to read, but I don't consider them part of my actual physical TBR. So, you know, there's that. But then, of course, we have my actual book collection, which is in these shelves here that my lovely dad and his friend built for me when I moved into my condo. If you guys wish to see a full, like, bookshelf organization type of video, I did one back in December when I actually did organize these shelves when I first had them built, but I can always do a new and refreshed one. But I guess this video also does kind of count as a bookshelf kind of, not necessarily organization, but a bookshelf tour in some kind of way. So, all right, we're gonna start with the middle grade, which is the top shelf. Okay, so out of all of these first few, I have not yet read Amari and the Night Brothers by B.B. Alston, or The Firekeeper by J.C. Cervantes, which is the sequel to The Storm Runner. I have also not yet read Land of Stories, but I have read all of these. I have yet to read this is going to be harder to take them all out, so maybe I won't. The Secrets of Winter House, so that is also on my TBR. I have yet to read, what else? Like, the majority of the C.S. Lewis books. I've read the first two. I don't really have any interest in reading the rest of them. They're just there on my shelves for, you know, collection reasons. I've read all of these. I have yet to read any of Philip Pullman's books, so these three are also on my TBR. I have read both of those. I have not yet read Rick Riordan's Daughter of the Deep. It is one of the only books that I have not read from Rick Riordan yet. Other than that one, I have yet to read the Kane Chronicles Book 2 and 3, which are the Throne of Fire, and this one here, The Serpent's Shadow. I have also yet to read the second book in the Magnus Chase books, but other than that, I have read the rest of the ones that I own. All right, let's drop down to over here, which is the remainder of my middle grade. I have read all of these books of The Keeper of the Lost Cities by Shannon Messenger. I have yet to read book 6. The next two here, I have yet to read book 2 and 3 of John Stevens' Books of Beginning. That's what it's called. Trilogy here. I do plan on reading them soon. And the last middle grade that I have not yet read on my shelves is Zachary Ying, which I also plan on reading soon. And now we begin the YA section, which shouldn't be that long. So what do I have behind Realmbreaker here? I have read that one. What's else behind her? Oh, nothing else. Cool, look at that. Oh no, Realmbreaker just went flying. Oh no. Book down. A casualty. Okay, so the first one that I have yet to read on this lovely shelf is The Glass Sword by Victoria Aveyard, which is the second book in the Red Queen series. I love Victoria Aveyard, so I do plan on eventually reading it. I'm just not gonna like rush out and get it. I've yet to read This Poison Heart, but I am currently 50 pages in, so I am reading it actively. I have yet to read Forest Born, which is just absolutely stunning, by Elaine Audrey Becker. I have read all of these. I have yet to read Chain of Iron by Cassandra Clare. I have read all of those babies, and I have yet to read this one and this one. I'm thinking of just taking this whole set off my shelves though, because I don't plan on reading it ever. They're just there. They're just there. And continuing along this way, another one that I have yet to read is Truth Witch by Susan Dennard, and Kingsbane here by Claire Legrand, which is the sequel to Furyborn. I also have yet to read Blood and Honey, Ballad and Dagger, which is the new very first YA book in the Rick Riordan Presents imprint. Very fun. And also have yet to read Red Dragon, which is the sequel to Here There Be Dragons. Let's go back over here. Continuing in my YA reads, I have yet to read The Faithless Hawk, which is the sequel to The Merciful Crow. I have read all of these, I have yet to read The Wren Hunt, which apparently doesn't want to come out of the shelves, by somebody Watson. I have yet to read The Camelot Betrayal, which is the sequel to The Guinevere Deception. That brings us to the end of the YA. I forgot that it ends right here. But now we begin my fantasy shelves. So let's get this started. The first one here that I haven't yet to read is The Stardust Thief by Chelsea Abdullah, but it is on my TBR for this month, so no fears. It will be read very soon. I also have yet to read Half a King by Joe Abercrombie, The Bard's Blade by Brian D. Anderson, and The Coward by Stephen Aryan. Next that I have not read is The Atlas Six by Olivia Blake. I've read like 25 pages and I do plan on reading it soon, so it should be read soon at some point. I also have not yet read this absolutely massive boy, The Mists of Avalon by Marion Zimmer Bradley. I also have another Marion Zimmer Bradley's over there that I'll get to that I have yet to read. I've read all these. Behind Galaxy, what do we have? Oh, we got Psalm. I have read. And then another Becky. Oh, okay. So I have yet to read The Kingdom of Copper, which is the sequel to The City of Brass by S.A. Chakraborty. This is like a in-depth look at like how I actually organize my bookshelves. And I do this to increase the space on my shelves and also have a few of my favorites facing out, which is very fun. And we continue down the line. I have yet to read The Masked City, which is the sequel to The Invisible Library, but I do want to read it soon because this was wild when I read it. Then sci-fi, we have Leviathan Wakes and Abaddon's Gate, book 1 and 3 of the Expanse series, which I have yet to read, but I do want to soon. I want to get into an epic sci-fi, you know, as one does. This is brand new, so I have not read it, but it is Wrath Goddess Sing by Maya Dean. It is a transgender bent retelling of the Achilles myth, which I'm very excited about. I'm ready to have my heart ripped out, you know. I also have not yet read The Bone Maker by Sarah Beth Durst. And now we get to the stack of little baby pocket-sized books. So we also have another Marion Zimmer Bradley, which I said before, The Ruins of Isis. I have not yet read The Royal Assassin or Assassin's Quest, which are Robin Hobb's second and third book in the Farseer trilogy. But other than that, I've read all of those. I have read this and this, but I have yet to read these two Gwyn books, Hunger of the Gods and A Time of Dread. And then, of course, I am in the middle of Valor, but I also have to read Ruin and Wrath. And that's my John Gwyn collection that is slowly growing. I love it. Continuing on, I also have yet to read Folklorn by Angela Mee Young Her, which is a cover that I absolutely love. Out of this lovely stack, we have, of course, my Wheel of Time books. It is out of order. I do apologize, but I have yet to read the third or the fourth. I'm halfway through the third, but I stopped reading it last year, so I will have to probably reread a little bit of it to get into it again, but third and fourth need to be read. And then this is the Dragons of Twilight, which is on my Cozy Fantasy TBR. It is part of the Dragonlance Dungeons & Dragons books, so I'm excited about it. Then, of course, we have one N.K. Jemisin that I own that I have not yet read, which is the 100,000 Kingdoms. And lastly, here we have Among Thieves by M.J. Kuhn that I haven't yet to read. All right, so now we get down to this part of my fantasy shelves. I also have been realizing that my camera's not really focusing on my books today, which is a little annoying, but all right, so I have this entire omnibus, which is 3 books in one, that is also on my soft or cozy fantasy TBR by Mercedes Lackey to read. But I have read the majority of these. The next one I have yet to read is this, A Feast of Crows by George R. R. Martin, and A Dance of Dragons, which is a little baby copy. I'm hoping one day to find A Dance of Dragons in this beautiful tall copy to join my collection. Also, I apologize if you can hear my chair creaking at any point in time. I sat down to get to these 2 shelves. But I have read like all of these up until A Deadly Education by Naomi Novik, and I have not yet read Kaikei by Vaishnavi Patel, which another one that I'm planning on reading very, 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 very soon. I have read these. I have not yet read Starsight by Brandon Sanderson, which is the sequel to Skyward, and I have yet to read Words of Radiance, which is the sequel to The Way of Kings, which is a big beefy boy. Now, continuing with my Brandon Sandersons, out of this lovely stack, I have yet to read Elantris and The Alloy of Law. Elantris is Brandon Sanderson's debut, and it's a standalone, but The Alloy of Law is book 1 in the Second Era Mistborn trilogy that I will hopefully eventually get to. I really want to collect all 3 books of the Mistborn trilogy like I did with the original trilogy of the second one, so that I have them. I don't know if they've made them into paperbacks yet, or like pocket-sized paperbacks, so I will have to keep my eyes out for them. Onwards! Next one that I have yet to read is Half Sick of Shadows by Laura Sebastian, which is a book that I'm 100% sure that I'm gonna love, but it's one of those books that I know I'm gonna love, so I keep putting it off, but I'm going to get to that one very, very soon. And we continue down the list, and I've read all of these. This is making me happy to know how many books I've actually read out of all the ones that I own. It makes me happy to see like a big chunk where I'm like, I've read all of these. And then of course I have not yet read Patrick Rothfuss is the Name of the Wind, but I do own it. So there's that. Out of these last books on this shelf, I have yet to read Dragon Engine Saying. I am 200 pages in though, so we're making progress. I also have yet to read Legacy of Ash by Matthew Ward, and A Hero Born by Jin Young, and then of course Collar Bound. Out of those ones in the end here, those are my graphic novels, and I have read every single one of them, which is very exciting. All right, that brings us to our last shelf, which is more of a kerfuffle than anything else, and is, you know, fun, but let's do this. So this is my teeny tiny little section of like literary fiction novels and everything else that I could fit just in this one section. So ones that I have not read. I have not yet read The Secret History of Witches by Louisa Morgan, and Lilac Girls by Martha Hall Kelly, or The Midnight Library by Matt Haig. So it's just 3 in that stack there. I have yet to read The Yellow Crocus, which is a book that I was gifted by a family friend. I also have yet to read The Forgotten Kingdom. Oh, I just realized these are out of order. And the first 15 Lives of Harry August, because that is a book club pick for this month, my book club pick specifically. So I will be reading that one very, very soon. Yes, I have yet to read The Forgotten Kingdom by Signe Pike. I also have yet to read The Lost Apothecary and Detransition Baby, but I've read the rest of them. I have also yet to read A Woman Talking, or Women Talking by Miriam Taves, who is a local author. But other than that, I have read all of these. Oh, I have not yet read this one. Let me scooch over here. I'm currently just gliding around on my office chair. This is fun. But I have yet to read. This is an ARC from HarperCollins that I got back in 2020. All About Us, which is a Christmas romance. I don't know when I'll get around to that. Eventually, hopefully. I also have not yet read The Girl He Used to Know by Tracy Garvis Graves, or A Lady for a Duke by Alexis Hall, but I do plan on reading that one. Out of these, what have I not yet read? I have not yet read Confessions of a Shopaholic, The Undomestic Goddess, and 20s Girl by Sophie Kinsella. Those 3 Sophies I have yet to read. But I do enjoy Sophie Kinsella's writing, so one day. Okay, let's keep going on. I have yet to read these 2 Beth O'Leary books. I did tentatively DNF The Road Trip last summer when I was reading it, because it just wasn't the vibe at the time, but I do plan on reading these at some point because The Flat Share is one of my favorite books, so I will read the other ones. I have read all of these. I have read all of these except for One of Us is Lying by Karen M. McManus. I also have yet to read When the Sky Fell in Splendor by Emily Henry, and My Plain Jane by just a kerfuffle of authors. And this last little section here, it's very tiny, my little YA contemporary section, but I also have yet to read Escaping from Houdini by Carrie Maniscalco. I've yet to read Yes, No, Maybe So by Becky Albertalli, and I believe it's Aisha Saeed. I was gonna say Alicia, but no, Aisha. And out of my lovely friend Sarah Sutton's books, one of my chairs is in the way. Out of these last couple that I have yet to read, I have yet to read Two Kinds of Us and Out of My League, but I've read the others, so that's very fun. So now, out of all the other books in my apartment, let's see what I have yet to read. But those are the books on my big shelf that I have yet to read. So I believe I have this stack of sci-fi that is currently holding up my TV. I have yet to read any of these. Prime Deceptions by Valerie Valdez, The Exiled Fleet by J.S. Dowes, A Memory Called Empire by Arkady Martine, and Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell. These books are library books, so they don't really count in this video, but I thought I'd show them because they're sitting here. In this lovely thing, I have mostly stored books that I have read, that I just wanted to, you know, get off my shelves to make room for other books. But I do have some that I have yet to read in here. So I have yet to read these 3 romances, which are C.L. Wilson's The Winter King, Tessa Dare's The Duchess Deal, and Amanda Boucher's A Promise of Fire. Other than that, what have I not yet read? I have not yet read Bring Me Their Hearts, which is this YA book. This is a little dark. I do apologize for the quality of this. I have not yet read Elise Cova's Air Awakens or this Reformed Vampire Support Group. I also have yet to read The Arena by Amy Rakopis or The Nature of Witches. There. All the other ones I have read. Alright, my friends, that brings us to the end of this video. Those are all the... No. There's one more. Of course there's one more. Of course there's one more. I think that's it though. I've been like looking across my entire condo to see if there's other books that I have yet to read, but the last one is The Ruin of Kings by Jen Lyons, which I started listening to on audiobook today, and I'm like 20 pages in now. So also currently reading this one. I have too many books on my currently reading list right now. It's because I'm in a weird reading mood that like nothing is sticking, but that's okay. I have yet to count at this moment, but I will put it on the screen how many books that I currently own that are unread, because I have no idea. I have really truly no idea how many books on my physical TBR there are. Well, just counted 114. And at the beginning of this year, I had 112 books on my TBR. It's written here in my goals list. So I've increased it by 2. Maybe we're due for an unhaul. But as of right now, the amount of unread books on my shelves, not including my classics, 114. I gotta read more. And you can shame me as you wish in the comments to see how many unread books I have. Anyways, my friends, I gotta go turn my air back on because I am now sweating. But I really hope you enjoyed watching this video. Please let me know down below if you've read any of the books that are currently on my TBR and which that I should like put at the top of my TBR to read, because you think that I will love them. Which ones do you think I will love? Anyways, my friends, thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in another video very, very soon. Stay kind and keep on reading.